asking you. All right.
Right. That's what I'm here. That's
all
what
right.
I figured.
Wojo, you're on the committee. Ready? Just quick answers. Clemson loses, Washington and Wisconsin wins. Who's your 4?
That would be Ohio State. I'm going to go ahead and put in Columbus. Ohio State, Alabama, Washington, and Michigan.
Okay. Clemson loses, Washington and Penn State win. Same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, here's my whole problem with people freaking out. And I understand it. I think it's great that people are freaking out. And I laugh at the people that said, you got to have a 14 playoff. That'll solve all the issues.
I never said that. I said we have to have an 18 playoff. That will solve all the issues.
Okay, right. That will, right.
Yeah.
But this is everybody thinks they know what the right criteria should be. And you know what the committee has done this year, and I do give them credit for this, Kirby Holcutt and the gang, they've stopped dumbing it down for people. And they've stopped with the vague concepts, in my mind, because it used to be, well, yeah, conference championships matter, and then head-to-head matters, and while all of that is used, they are making no bones about it now that it's the 4 best teams, and they don't give a crap if all 4 are from one conference, and where people would freak out in the past, you know why I don't think they're going to freak out now? Because, A, the committee has been laying this groundwork all year long. Listen, we're done playing games with the Boise States of the world and the TCUs of the world and crap like that. We got our asses kicked in the TV ratings last year. And are they doing this for ratings? No, but they know, well, not necessarily, but they know they have to get the 4 best teams. And, no, you got to win the conference championship, right? That's what people, no, you got to win the conference championship. Okay, so if Virginia Tech beats Clemson, Virginia Tech's in, right?
No.
Whoa. Wait. But if Florida beats Alabama, Florida's in, right?
Well, under my plan, the 18 playoff, they would be, but not in this playoff.
Which is dumb.
No, it's not dumb, so stop.
It's dumb.
So Wojo,
criteria.
But Wojo, what people around here care about, if I'm reading you correctly, if either Clemson or Washington lose, you're going to be with your beloved Wolverines New Year's Eve somewhere playing in a semifinal.
I think so. I mean, I can only base it on what they've said and how they voted it, and it's not even necessarily. I mean, they do have strong affinity for Michigan, but they've been saying all year consistently that they cannot stand what Washington did with their non-conference schedule when they played Rutgers, and then they played Rutgers 8 more times. Rutgers, Idaho, Portland State. Oh, and then followed up with Arizona, a conference game, which is one of the worst teams in the country. So they made it clear, don't do that. Washington did it. The Pac-12 was garbage outside of Washington and USC. And their love for the Big Ten, whether you think it's right or not, they have 4 Big Ten teams in the top 8. So is it really that ridiculous if 3 of them made the – do you have to bring up Oklahoma just because, Oklahoma and you don't want 3 in? I mean, I think they're being – while it's annoying people, I think they're being logical. And one more thing, and I know you don't care about these things, nor do I, but the strongest conference in their mind is the Big Ten. Michigan just put all 11 of its defensive players on the All-Big Ten team, if you count honorable mention.
Who cares
8 of 11.
Who cares about that?
I'm not saying for the award standpoint. I'm saying, again, an indication of how people think that's one of the great defenses in college football. And they're trying, I think, to avoid 38-0 against Alabama.
We're talking to Wojo, of course. You can hear him every night here at 6 on 97.1 The Ticket. And he also writes a column for the Detroit News. Do you think there's a scenario, and this has been one of my little pets this morning, which I'm just trying to put out there to really be a fly in the ointment. Because the Pac-12 game is Friday night instead of Saturday, which I think is a mistake for the Pac-12, but I guess the TV does it. If Washington wins an unimpressive game over Colorado, and then we got all day Saturday for all the talking heads like you and your boys Herbie and Pat Forty and Dan Wetzel and everybody, and they talk up Michigan, I guess what I'm asking you is, if Washington wins, are they in, or do you think there is a scenario where that doesn't happen?
No, I think if they win, they're in, and then Michigan fans would have to turn their lonely eyes towards Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Because Colorado's a legit team, whereas like Virginia Tech not, as far as the top 25
That's
is
true.
concerned. So no, I think they would be in, but you do have to. And I know it's hard for people, and Stoney, I know it breaks your little brain sometimes because you like things very cut and dried. But you do have to watch how the games you think these committee members just sit there with spreadsheets and look at record?
No.
Okay, no, they look at how the games are played. For instance, I wouldn't rule out the Wisconsin-Penn State winner in any circumstance. What if Wisconsin goes in and beats Penn State 56-3? Well, then you got to rethink it a little bit, don't you?
Yes.
That's how Ohio State got in a couple years ago when they beat Wisconsin 62-0 or whatever. You do have to watch the games and make up your mind who you think is a better team.
So it's the eye test is basically what's going to decide this thing.
Then that's the eye test is the lazy way to say it. It's watching the game.
Of course it is.
Go ahead and look at the metrics, how the schedule, who did they play. You're not just looking at an eye test. They look better. Oh, they didn't look that good against that team, or they looked that good against that team. And again, it's so unscientific. I feel guilty even arguing that much about it because we all pretend like I was arguing with the Valenti kid and the Rieger kid yesterday.
No, really?
Oh, yeah, because Valenti came up with a new metric that you can't lose 2 of your last 3 games and get in. No, impossible. So I was looking through the committee's criteria, and I did not see that.
Right.
And, for instance, another one, they beat Penn State early, and they're 49. Penn State was injured, and it was in September. So all I'm asking is, okay, tell me when the games start counting. Is it October 15th? Is it October 31st? When do they actually start counting? Because Michigan had an injured quarterback the last 2.5 games. And I'm not even putting that into the factor unless you're going to alibi for Penn State losing 49-10 because they were injured.
Right, and the Colorado people say, well, their quarterback got hurt in the Michigan game. I say Jordan Lewis didn't play.
Good point, Stone. Look at Stoney coming up with a good point.
Hey, it's been happening, Wojo. You just have to get up a little earlier to hear it.
You act like it's totally out of character.
Yeah, well, this is not even like, oh, this is the right and this is the right. Michigan isn't guaranteed to get in if Washington loses. I think it would happen. I think just based on what the committee's saying. I'm just trying to follow, and I think they're smart in this regard, is to stop playing games and say the 4 best. They never would say it that frankly.
So is it the 4 best teams right now, or because USC's not ranked that way, but certainly you can argue that they're one of the 4 best teams right now.
No, body of work. 4 best teams.
Okay.
Like from start to finish.
Okay.
This is the whole thing. People thought the playoff was going to ruin the regular season, and I was one that thought it would certainly diminish it, but I think they're being fairly strident about the entire body of work because, one of the hottest teams in the country is, Oklahoma. Where are they? 9th. Because they lost by 3 touchdowns at home to Ohio State.
And because even in some of their wins, they gave up 59 points to Texas Tech.
Right. And nobody in the Pac-12 plays defense. We know that with Washington included. I think Washington I think they're right. I think it's razor thin between Michigan and Washington. But it's not razor thin between Michigan and Penn State.
Final question. Better chance of happening, Michigan makes the playoff or Peppers wins the Heisman?
Ooh, Peppers wins Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, well, that's foregone conclusion.
By the
Come
way,
on.
I know you got to tune in at 2 o'clock today when the little Valenti kid goes on.
Yeah.
I know his strategy to walk back his strident anti-Michigan in the playoff tact. I know his strategy.
The committee is full of dopes and buffoons?
No, he's moving to Denmark. He's leaving the country.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
Well, if they get in, that
as a
means
Dane, we welcome him in.
he can't talk college football because he said he's done with the sport if Michigan gets in.
They're not in, first of all, yet.
I know.
Slow down.
Yeah, pump the brakes there. All right,
All right, I'll
Woj.
hang on and play baked potato with you.
Oh, great. Well, fantastic. Wojo will hang on, and he can be one of the celebrity contestants in Bake.